Our buttons are going to be quite large and we need to fit onto that button stand a button and a buttonhole. I'm using my ellipse tool to create that button. I want the button to sit completely in the center, so where the guideline is, where it says intersect, that's the center of that button stand, and now I need to create a buttonhole. It's denim and usually it's a keyhole buttonhole, so let me just make that default. So what I've done is I've created my button and now I'm going to create the buttonhole. So I use my pen tool. I rest my pen tool on the center of the button and just move it out to the left. Click to the center and hold Shift and drag to create a little bit of an eye shape over there, so a little loop. I'm going to remove the fill. What I'm going to do is try and make this look quite authentic, so I'm going to put a zigzag into it. To do that I have to have quite a fine stroke, so let's make that stroke 0.25 and see how that looks. Come up into Effect, Distort and Transform Zigzag, and we'll make that also 0.2. Let's have a look. Could even be smaller. We'll make it 0.15. Yep, that looks good. And smooth. And there you have what looks like a keyhole buttonhole. Bring your button to the front, group it with the buttonhole, and we'll just put a gradient in there, so direct selection or group selection. We'll come here and make sure that the fill is in front. We'll put that gradient in, and now what we need to do is come into our gradient panel and change it to radial. And we now have gradient button, holding Shift to put it on the waistband. Could be a tiny bit smaller when you see it on the waistband. And we'll copy that down, probably first button about there. So what's important and something we have to realize, and we'll make the button stroke around the button 0.5 because it looks a little big. So we've got 5 buttons on this skirt, or 6 buttons if we have a look at that. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I think we may need 6 for this one. And I'm just going to make my keyboard increment a little bigger, so 10 millimeters. And just copy 1, so 1, 2, so there's 3 buttons, 4 buttons, 5 buttons, 6 buttons. Looks like we need to have a bit more spacing. I'll drag that down to about there, hold Shift to pick up all the buttons, horizontal align center, and come into vertical distribute from the center. So that leaves the top and button the same, and we group all buttons. Group the back, and we can place a back skirt behind the skirt. Direct selection. We can go through and, as you know, change everything to black and white. That's your full denim skirt.